Ryan's starting to smile.
I don't know what I said.
Wow. I'm in charge of this thing. I can't laugh too much.
It's funny as fuck.
This is shit that somebody would clip and be like, "Look at these guys."
It's the music, man. Oh, I can't breathe.
Oh man.
Oh man. I'll piss my pants.
This is fucking Jay. I'm so mad.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Oh man, that's so great.
Yeah.
Jay,
and,
you there right, bro?
He's still laughing.
I
Jay's
can't
dying.
hold it.
Fuck,
Jay, you're still
Jay.
laughing.
Jay's losing his shit, bro. Like, it's just...
Jeremy Kenny.
I tried to hold it together. I was like,
I don't know why I can't stop laughing at this.
There you go.
Water.
Jay, Drunk 3PO, unmute. God. What's wrong with Jay?
And I am live now. Not sponsored by Geeks and Gamers, but I have another announcement to make. What is up, everyone? It is your boy, Jared the American, back up with another stream. And today, I have some news to cover. I mean, there's so much news, but I can only really think of 3 stories. Let me see. First off, I want to spawn, or I am not, but Shirley Maya Cusack, she has an event. If you're in New Jersey, she on the 13th of July in Old Bridge at the Grand Marquis, she's having an event. If you want to go, the information's here, but I will say that tickets are $125 per person. I mean, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be on vacation when this happens, but that doesn't mean you can't go. And I just want to say, anyone who wants to go, you should go. my friend Dan Nelosic, he wants to, and here's the campaign kickoff. So in the and here's the so if you're in New Jersey or are going to be in New Jersey around that time, I recommend going. You might actually, you know, you might have a good time, even if you don't like Shirley. I think that she does seem like she's a good person. And she has a great chance at being Bob Menendez. And if you remember what Danny said on when he was back on, and I want to get him back on. I've got it scheduled, and I want to get Shirley actually on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to request Danny to come on. I'm going to ask Danny tomorrow because I've got to make a whole bunch of calls with him tomorrow. I'm going to ask him, hey, have you spoken to Shirley? Would she be willing to come on? When? So I'm going to try and get that sorted out at some point. Because I've been wanting to have this person on. Sure. Yeah, I've been wanting to have her on. She is definitely Trump. She was at Trump's event at Bedminster in New Jersey. Trump, he heads up north to Bedminster, New Jersey for the summer. He's like a bird. Trumpy bird. We got Trumpy bear. We need Trumpy bird now. Not the only Latino. I really want to get Drunk 3PO on. I don't know. I'm not sure if she'd appreciate Drunk 3P. Maybe. But we do have more to cover. We have as you see, we've got Tucker, we've got Madonna. France is falling apart it seems. So if you're watching this, go and support Shirley, please. So yeah. But let's see. I missed episode 6, unfortunately, it looks like, of Tucker. But we're going to watch because he brought the missing Chilean American journalist Gonzalo Lira, who's been missing in Ukraine.
Tucker Carlson,
For
you may have
a
found
couple
yourself
weeks now.
wondering recently, as the world slides closer to nuclear annihilation than any time in human history, why exactly are we at war with Russia? It seems like there's a pretty significant downside to this particular foreign policy decision, starting with economic collapse and ending potentially with extinction. So is there a good reason we're doing it? So many innocent young people have been killed. So many hundreds of billions of dollars have been wasted, some of them from the U.S. Treasury. So what's the point? Are we really doing this so the Biden family can repay its debts to the oligarchs who financed their beach house in Rehoboth? We're doing it so our government can continue to lie about its illicit biolabs in Eastern Europe? So that flabby losers like Toria Nuland and Tony Blinken can feel like they're doing something important with their sad, empty lives? Really? Honestly, there's got to be a better reason for waging this, the most pointless war of all. What is it? Well, thankfully, we have an answer. The war against Russia, ladies and gentlemen, the war against Putin and for Ukraine is in fact a war for democracy. Watch and recall the motive.
The President has said many times we're focused on what we can do to support Ukraine's effort to fight for their democracy.
Democracy must prevail. The Ukrainian people are fighting the fight for their democracy, and in doing so, for ours as well.
Assisting and helping Ukraine win this fight for democracy and freedom.
And of course, Ukrainian President Zelensky understands that what's at stake in Ukraine is bigger than just his nation. It is literally a battle for freedom and democracy themselves.
They are showing the world what an existential fight for democracy looks like.
President Zelensky and the Ukrainians have changed the course of history for the better, and we unequivocally are with the Ukrainian people in their fight to remain a sovereign democracy.
Unequivocally with the Ukrainian people to remain a democracy. It's a bipartisan view. Democracy must prevail. You just heard noted democracy expert Nancy Pelosi say, the daughter of the mobbed-up mayor of Baltimore. As Pelosi puts it, the Ukrainian people are fighting the fight for their democracy and for ours as well.
Hang on. Let me get. God, I hate when I pause it. It's so bad. I hate when I. Let me actually. I'm getting another. You know what? I have to get this video. Let me get this video because I think we need to play this clip from. Guess it was John Doyle. I need to add this. Because
Democracy is cringe. Read some Aristotle.
Democracy is cringe indeed. Fuck democracy.
Well, that's right, for ours as well. Without Ukrainian democracy, in other words, we can have no democracy here. If the Ukrainians aren't free, neither are we. We must make sure they can vote in Kiev so we can continue to vote in Kansas City. It's really that simple. And yet tonight, we regret to tell you that we have a problem. It looks like they're not going to be able to vote in Kiev anymore. And no, for once, it's not Putin's fault. Democracy in Ukraine seems to be suspended by the world's foremost democracy advocate himself, Field Marshal Zelensky. Watch this.
Чи будуть в Україні наступного року вибори?
Це ж питання глобальне. І якщо ми переможемо, то будуть. Значить, не буде військового часу, не буде війни. А вибори повинні проходити у мирний час, коли немає.
It's our old boy Zelensky. Look at that. He's got the. We gotta get this on. He actually looks good. Looks like he's actually shaved.
So when you have an election, well, he says if we win, we'll let people vote. Otherwise, no. You vote when we feel like it, because ultimately we're completely in charge and make all the rules. Your job is to obey or be punished. That's our version of self-government. Self means me. I'm the government. Now, that's not just any autocrat. That's our chief ally in the war for democracy. This is the guy who just announced he's likely to cancel next year's elections. So you've got to wonder what the Biden administration thinks of this. We can't possibly continue to support Zelensky, that guy, after he said that, can we? Because in a clip less than 30 seconds long, he just blew up our entire rationale for supporting his side in the war. So we can't support him. Oh, of course we can. And we will. Here's Joe Biden from yesterday reaffirming America's unequivocal support for Ukraine.
No matter what happened in Russia, we, the United States, will continue to support Ukraine's defense and its sovereignty and its territorial integrity.
So to recap, we are currently fighting a war for democracy on behalf of a leader who just casually announced he's happy to end democracy, and our democracy supporting leaders have no problem with that. In fact, they're strongly for it. Shocked? You shouldn't be. Of course they're for it. You should have seen this coming. Wars for democracy always cancel democracy in the process. That's why our leaders love them. And they all do it, even the virtuous leaders. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus. The British government under Winston Churchill threw an entire opposition party into prison and let them rot for the duration, in some cases with their families. So in a war for democracy, you can do anything. Imagine what a man might do who has fewer principles. If that man, say, ran Ukraine, he might seize churches, arrest priests, ban all criticism of himself, disappear his political opponents. And that's happening. Just last month, Zelensky threw a man called Gonzalo Lira into prison indefinitely for the crime of daring to write about the Ukrainian government in unflattering
Free Gonzalo
ways.
Lira. Free Gonzalo Lira. Been held too long. Poor wife and children. His young children do not know where. No one knows where he is. But, we're not going to just ignore that. Just ignore it.
Now, what's interesting, what separates this from other such cases, is that Lira is an American citizen. So Joe Biden, who is quite a bit of SWAT, as they say in Ukraine, could have freed Gonzalo Lira within hours. But he didn't. He didn't want to. He didn't say a word about it. He remains in prison tonight. So that makes you wonder, what's the real motive here? When normal people see war, they see death and destruction, sadness and suffering. But that's not what demagogues see. They understand it differently. They know that war means power, mostly for them. During wartime, everything they do can be justified. War is the gravest of all emergencies. Imagine the COVID lockdowns times 1,000 plus Rome. Once war breaks out, politicians become gods with the power of life and death. So in a peaceful democracy, you have to debate your political opponents in public, and that's tough.
Woodrow Wilson threw a political candidate into prison, Eugene Debs, because he criticized World War I.
Tiresome. But in a war for democracy, you can just throw them in jail or have them executed. You can see that many in Washington are looking forward to that moment. And that may be why they so fervently support Joe Biden, even many Republicans, against a potential opponent, the only opponent who opposes the war in Ukraine. If you were to end the war, their power would evaporate. Last week, a whistleblower produced WhatsApp messages from Hunter Biden, proving that at the very least, his father knew about his influence peddling businesses abroad and probably participated in them. Quote, "I'm sitting here with my father," Hunter Biden wrote to his Chinese partners demanding money. As much as anything reported about the Bidens over the last several years, this was the smoking gun. There it is, right there in the message. That would have been enough to cripple a normal president. It would have been more than enough to keep a normal president from running for office again. But it had virtually no effect on Joe Biden. Most media outlets ignored it completely or tried to spin Biden's relationship with his son as some kind of moral victory. Quote, "The real meaning of the Hunter Biden saga, as I see it," wrote Nick Kristof of the New York Times, "isn't about presidential corruption, but is about how widespread addiction is and about how a determined parent with unconditional love can sometimes reel a child back." He actually wrote that. And if you doubt it, you should know that view was common. Here's the take from ABC.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son Hunter, and will never treat him lesser than. And so he is a father first. Take it or leave it.
So a whistleblower produces a text message showing that Joe Biden was in the room with his son when his son was selling influence to an enemy power, the Chinese government. And ABC's take on it, Joe Biden is a father first. Take it or leave it. What accounts for a response like that? Well, that's the way you talk when you've got nothing to fear from an upcoming presidential election. You don't even bother to think of an excuse for your candidate because you don't need to. Your country has electronic voting machines. Joe Biden got 81,282,916 votes in 2020, and you're pretty sure he can do it again. In fact, you know he can. You're not worried. But actually, they should be a little worried. The people who control Joe Biden, Susan Rice, and the rest, know they can continue to run our government, writing the press releases, formulating the policies, and they can do it effectively forever, as long as Joe Biden gets dressed in the morning. And of course, that's their strong preference. These are fervent opponents of change. But the one thing these people cannot control is aging. Joe Biden is old. He's 80 now. He will be 85 at the end of the next term. People imagine that old age is a long, predictable progression from acuity to permanent unconsciousness. But often that's not at all how it actually works. When old people start to slide, they tend to slide fast. Joe Biden has begun that descent. Here he was yesterday.
And here's what she wrote to me, and I quote, "You can imagine my joy." She called them right away, and the next day they sent someone out to survey her yard. As Beth wrote, "This is the best thing that's happened to rural America since the Rural Electrification Act brought electricity to farms in the 30s and 40s. End of quote.
End of quote. You weren't supposed to hear that. Joe Biden read the stage directions out loud. That's
Trump, when you see Trump speak, he's sharp. Donald Trump is really sharp when he speaks. Joe Biden they have to have him read off a teleprompter. This is the worst point in American history.
It's like eating the garnish that comes with your entree. You're supposed to know not to do that. Joe Biden no longer does. In a year or two, he will be gone completely, and there will be no hiding it. At that point, the Democratic Party will face a secession problem. If Joe Biden is reelected next year and then forced to leave office during his term due to disability or death, that means Kamala Harris will become president of the United States. And nobody wants that, not even her husband. In real life, nobody likes Kamala Harris. It's not an attack on her. In fact, it's possible to feel pity for someone who's so universally reviled. It is instead an observation of unchanging physical reality like gravity or photosynthesis. Nobody wants Kamala Harris to be president. No one will benefit if she becomes president. So logic suggests there's going to be a change. It's going to have to be somebody else. And whoever that person is going to have to enter the race soon, before the election, after Biden drops out. Who could that person be? We don't know, obviously. This is all just guessing. But we do know whoever that is will have to have two essential criteria. He'll have to be as shallow, ruthless, and transactional as Joe Biden is, and he'll need to have flattery skills that are so polished and advanced they'd be considered superior even in the Saudi royal court. And there's only one man in modern America who fits that description: Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, and perhaps not coincidentally, Joe Biden's new closest friend. "I am here, Mr. President," Newsom told Biden at an event the two did together last week. "I am here as a proud American, as a proud Californian, mesmerized by not just your faith and your devotion to this country and the world we're trying to build, but by your results, by your action, by your passion, by your capacity to deliver."
Deliver what?
"I am mesmerized by you, Joe Biden." Imagine saying that as a compliment. You couldn't do it. Few human beings could do it. But Gavin Newsom had no problem at all. Those words rolled right off his forked tongue. He never stopped smiling. So if you're looking for the leader of the coup, there he is right there.
You often hear people say that.
So, lots to talk about. Mention of Gonzalo Lira. Democrats are facing a crisis at this point. RFK is part. I think RFK, he does want to become president, and I think he's going to run as a third-party candidate. He's going to run as a third-party candidate, and because obviously the Democrats are not going to let him. Sorry, I'm just checking because I am growing a bit of a goatee, as you can see. But they're obviously not going to let him in. So what are they going to do? We know that they were the ones who took out his father and his uncle. This is getting very complicated. And I could go into the France story maybe, but I think we need to continue this. And I think I'll save the France story for last. But democracy. This is the excuse that's been used for however so long. Like, at least the European powers of old, it was for, yes, we want to expand. Yes, we want to create an empire. The US is like, no, we're doing this for democracy. And if you say anything else, we're going to throw you in prison. Yeah. Democracy, or democracy, as the great Gerald Celente calls it. It's really dumb. I can't believe people actually are still falling for this lie that everything is done based on democracy. I mean, democracy, it's actually more authoritarian. A pure democracy is authoritarianism. Representative democracy, however, is not pure authoritarianism. People would call the U.S. a representative democracy. U.S. is a constitutional republic. I don't think anywhere in the Constitution does it say democracy or in the Declaration of Independence. Republic, however, is a word that is used often. So yeah. And I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But thing is, democracy, and I'm going to pull up So to finish up with this, when you can use democracy as your excuse, you can get away with whatever you want. Lincoln was able to, as Tucker said, Lincoln was able to suspend habeas corpus. If you watch Razor Fist video, Lincoln did much more than just that. I'm just gonna. Let's see if I can get. I just sent a tweet. I'm going to try and get Drunk 3PO on at some point. I want Drunk 3. He's the sexiest man alive. Actually, because Camelot's getting Eric July on. And actually, Eric July like a some mine because you are mad that the Rippaverse is doing well, but that's beyond the point. Our next story, Madonna. This comes from NBC News. Not my favorite, but you know what? They're just in this case, they're just reporting what's happening. And I don't know anything. Could be COVID related. Could not. I just hope for the best for her. I don't like Madonna. I think she's a TDS nutcase, but I don't wish death upon her. I hope everything goes well and she comes out all right. And also, happy birthday, Mike Lindell. Just positivity. We wish Mike Lindell a happy birthday, but we also wish Madonna the best. So, Madonna hospitalized with bacterial infection, upcoming tour delay. So, I'm not sure if this is with vaccine, because if you know anything about COVID, I don't think the COVID vaccine gives you the bacterial. It'll shut down your immune system, but it's not. I'm not sure if it'll give you. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have to wait for more information before I can make an actual analysis based off of what's being said in the information of Dr. Pierre McCullough and Robert Kennedy Jr. All right, so Madonna 64 is delaying her upcoming. So the 64-year-old. So 64-year-old entertainer is expected to make a full recovery, but remains under medical care, her manager said. So that's some good news. So Madonna 64 is delaying her upcoming tour as she recovers from a serious bacterial infection that had her hospitalized, her manager said Wednesday. The pop star had a several-day stay in the intensive care unit after she developed the infection Saturday. Her manager, Guy Alseri, said in an Instagram post. A source close to the star said Wednesday that Madonna was out of the ICU. So she's out of the ICU. Again, she looks like Wednesday Addams. Not sure if she got the news, but Jenna Ortega is Wednesday. I'm not her. So Madonna is expected to make a full recovery, but remains under medical care as she improves, her manager said. At this time, we'll need to pause all commitments, which includes the tour, he said. We will share more details with you as soon as we have them, including a new start date for the tour and for rescheduled shows. It's unclear what Madonna's diagnosis is or if she was still in the intensive care unit as of Wednesday. So this is the post on Instagram. On Saturday, June 24th, Madonna developed a serious bacterial infection which led to a several-day stay in the ICU. Her health is improving. However, she's still under medical care. Full recovery is expected. At this time, we'll need to pause all commitments, which includes the tour We'll share more details with you as soon as we have them, including a new start date for the tour and for rescheduled shows. Madonna was scheduled to kick off the celebration tour with guest Bob the Drag Cleaning Count on July 15th, concluding in Mexico at the end of January. The show meant to honor her for 4 decades in music was going to span North America and Europe, according to her website. Live Nation, the tour's promoter, did not immediately respond to a request for comment from NBC News. So just that. Hope she gets better, but looks like she's if I was to guess, she's probably going to cut her Europe, and she'll probably cut some shows in North America. I mean, if she decides to go through with it, go all as scheduled across America, North America, and Europe. Good for her. That's commitment. I don't mind that. For age and for what she's going through, if she still wants to do that. That is really good. Or I say she should do what she feels comfortable with. I'm not one to comment. Neither are you. We just have to hope and pray for the best for her. And if there is some COVID back, like I know there are some people on Twitter suggesting, again, I'm not sure. I don't really think it could be related, but it could also just be a normal bacterial infection. That's stuff people get all the time. Sometimes. I mean, to my knowledge, I haven't had one. Never know with these things, especially this deck. Hey, what's going to happen? And that actually brings us to our next story. So this actually brings us to our next story. And let me get this up. So France is going through is going through rock. Then you might be like, oh, Jared, this is normal with France. They always do it. Well, actually, and so it looks like it's getting out of control for the riot police in France, is what I'm hearing. And I've got to be careful. This is embarrassing. From what I hear is tragically a 17-year-old was shot in this French city of Toulouse by French police, and I've heard conflicting reports that he was trying to run away and they shot him, or he tried to run. He stole a car and was trying to run over. I've heard so many reports. I've also saw that apparently someone's dog got caught in the crossfires and more riots have broken out. I mean, I'm sure the dog accidentally, the officer who shot didn't mean to shoot the dog. But yeah, that's a dick move. That's a dick move. I think we can all agree at the end of the day, shooting a dog for no reason is a fucking dick move. And let's actually get these. This is from Ukraine Maps on Twitter, who's actually banned in France, banned Germany and France. So the riot police of the French regime forces are mobilizing in Saint Dion's north of Paris for a big operation. So, I mean, clashes continue. The use of bomb is also heard in the video. Clichy, northwest Paris. So most of this is happening in Paris. And I'm not sure if there's anyone from France who's watching. I took 4 years of French in high school. I heard. I don't know what is going on. All I know is this is. All I know is La France. Let's see.
T'as vu le feu? Moi, j'ai vu le feu.
I'm probably going to make more videos on this. Like, more short content will be specifically on France. This could get pretty interesting. Natere right now. So, going back up, there's a map. So, this map is Paris People's Republic regime forces. So, guess this is some French commune type of stuff. I mean, this could, if any more developments occur, I mean, I'm going to spend a lot of time. We're going to be, so look, so this is in that green zone. So, I gotta do something. The French Welcome to, this is normal. Welcome to France. I'm not sure if people can hear me. I don't think I changed my microphone. I think there we go. yeah, this is. All I have to say is, holy crap, France. I just want.
Pas à l'écran, mais.
Can we have one of Napoleon's descendants take power again? Can we make this interesting? I want to see something interesting happen. Yeah, the French are in. But interestingly enough, and let me go back to my. Let me actually get this other tab because I want to go through more of this. So. Apparently in 2022, there was a Netflix original called Athena, which depicts a civil war in France after Arab and African minorities rebel against the oppressive French and racist French government after the death of one of their own during a police altercation. Oh, sounds familiar, right? Yeah, this looks like it's a. Hang on, gotta bring back up Ukraine maps. Son of a. I am so out of whack today. Because what's going on in France is 100% easily mental. All right, so apparently an IED. Is this Israel? Oh, is the Israeli Defense Force here now?
Nuage noir là, il y a. Oh!
And they say Russia was in. I mean, there been stuff going around about how General Surovikin has been arrested. Looks to be another Western thing.
Oh putain.
Ouais, c'est chaud.
Oh putain.
I don't know.
Pas à l'écran, mais tout dans le nuage noir là, il y a. Oh! Oh putain.
Ouais, c'est chaud.
Oh putain.
There's this. Paris tonight is transformed into a war field. You know, maybe the Dr. Disrespect can have this as a map for his new game. I joke. But, you know, I mean, in all reality, this is terrible. This is awful. So this is what's going on. The riot police are now I'm gonna find more videos because this is just in Paris. We also have videos from Telun, how you pronounce it. Again, my French teacher would be disappointed. Just gotta be careful where I go. Because you don't want you. If you're also following, Laura Loomer completely annihilated Max Nordau today. That's something. That's just clown work. The great Laura Loomer. Where would we be without her? DeSantis might actually, he'd be up in the polls. He's probably still. That was an interesting tweet back there. Hold on, let me. And I can't find it, of course. Of course, I can't find it. Just sprinter on where? There's a lot of these videos. This is crazy what's going on in France. God damn. Oh my God, that was loud. Oh, that hurt. Lots is going on. Holy crap. There's footage from Toulon. I gotta be careful though here, because they'll still tend to bots still tend to post porn. Bots still tend to post porn on Twitter. Oh my gosh. There's gotta be like some holiday going. So, according to this person, Dane, France riots in Nature after a black man was killed by the police after trying to flee the police with his car at a checkpoint for some odd reason. The black man resisted arrest and tried to kill the police with his car. Strange. So that's another that he escaped. Apparently, I've heard either of the others I've heard is Tunisian. Maybe they're different cases. But here's this. Look at that. Holy crap. I mean, this is normal in France, but something doesn't feel, it feels abnormal. Like, this could escalate more. Are we going to see a this bus, the sound. This is getting worse than the George Floyd. This is like the French. Of course, the French equivalent of the Summer of Love probably has to be 10 times worse.
On ne pourra pas dire que vous n'avez pas cherché. Maintenant, ça va remettre des gens compétents avec des armes. Maintenant, ça va coûter cher. Pour le petit Naël Rahman, on ne pourra pas dire que vous n'avez pas cherché. Maintenant, venez éteindre.
And apparently, Talou. There's a lot.
What?
You harm one, we burn a city. You kill one, we burn the country. Rise in France after murder of the 14-year-old Nehal by cop. Holy. Like. You know, this is just with so this is in Lille, so near the border with Belgium. I hear some English, and these guys look white. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some. These look like race riots. A racial civil war is going on in France. It looks like it could. Looks like there could be a coup. I don't know how this ends. Because the military has been at odds with a lot of current and former generals in the French army, and several generals and admirals, military leaders, have been critical of Macron's policies when it comes to immigration. And there's been talk of the military getting involved for years. Gets out hand. Perhaps the military just might end up ousting Macron, the French armed forces. This is what multiculturalism does. Can be a good thing, but All right, so here it is. So from Optimus Prime on Twitter. Should I read this synopsis? I think I'm going to read this. Are you paying attention to Biden's object, Trump indictment, Russia's rockets, France riots, Pride Month dances, Axis death, vaccine, etc.? Good, because they don't want you to pay attention to Summer Day in Tianjin, China. I'm kind of all for the chaos. Look, InfoWars. Let's read this InfoWars article, shall we? Infowars.com. This is from RT. So initially it's from RT, but it's being posted on InfoWars. So 20 people have been detained for rioting in Nanterre, a western suburb of Paris, police said on Tuesday. The arrest broke out after an officer killed a 17-year-old man. 17-year-old man, you mean 17-year-old teen? 17-year-old teen during a traffic stop. The altercation occurred on Tuesday morning, according to police. The young man was shot after failing to comply with an order and attempted to ram an officer with his car. So, looks like as I'm seeing more and more, it looks like the officer were somewhat not entire. I don't say they were entirely, but they were somewhat justified because they kind of actually were, because he tried to kill him, according to this. A video filmed by a witness showed that the two officers had stopped a yellow Mercedes AMG way. AMG. While one officer was standing outside his window and giving orders to the driver, his colleague stood next to him and was pointing a handgun at the driver. The car suddenly moved forward, prompting an officer to fire a single shot. The Mercedes crashed into a bull and the driver died, despite efforts to resuscitate him. The prosecutor's office said the driver was known for having previously refused to comply with a police order during a traffic stop. Hours after the incident, around 50 people held a protest outside Nanterre police station, BFMT reported. In other parts of the neighborhood, rioters smashed bus stops, set garbage containers on fire, and torched several vehicles. Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin said an investigation had been launched into the shooting. A separate investigation has been launched on the suspect of attempting to cause a harm to a police officer. So there's that. But there's so Amiens as well. It looks like Amiens, the city of Amiens in France. So this is getting crazy. Happen. Do we see some hard line they're coming? Or is this nothing and it will just be resolved?
Regarde de l'autre côté, ça prend possible. Ouais, on est juste là pour montrer la réalité sur le terrain, en fait, que... Ouais, c'est oh là là.
Holy crap. So this is a video.
Il est rentré. Oh putain. Il est...
This is crazy. Hang on. First, I'm gonna because it's a lot. Classic France. Now you got bushfires in California, apparently. So much, but I think that's a good place to leave it. We are at an hour and 9 minutes. You know what to do. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And I will see you later. Bye-bye, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.